Daddy Pig brought home an old plush Laboo. Its fur was mangy and patched, with only one eye, a dull button. The fabric smelled of dampness and mold. The toy creaked softly as if it were breathing. Peppa took the toy without a smile. The house instantly grew colder, though it was spring outside. When night fell, the walls began to whisper. Laboo's eye lit up with a murky yellow glow. He started whispering dreadful words in a language impossible to understand. Wet shadows gathered in the corners of the room and slowly devoured everything. First the books, then the furniture. Outside the windows, the whispers grew louder, as if someone were circling the house. The lamp flickered so violently it seemed ready to go out. The air filled with the smell of burnt rubber and damp earth. Daddy Pig stumbled, seized with terror. "I should never have brought him," he muttered. "Laboo is the keeper of forgotten sins. He feeds on oblivion." His hands trembled as he clutched the door of the old chest where he had once found the toy. The chest was soaked in a black liquid that slowly dripped down the wood. In the deepest part of the night, Laboo vanished, as if dissolved into the air. But a moment later, he appeared at the doorway. His eye burned with yellow light. His lips moved. "I have awakened for you. You belong to me forever." His claws sank into Peppa's shoulder, softly but inescapably. The walls became covered with a sticky black substance, slowly oozing downward. From within came a faint wail, the voices of forgotten souls, trapped there forever. The temperature plummeted. The air grew thick and suffocating. The lamp's glow barely cut through the darkness. The house had become a chamber of fear and oblivion. Peppa could not move. Laboo whispered to her, "You are my curse. You are my eternal shadow." The room turned into an abyss. The curtains swayed without wind. The walls seemed to tremble and dissolve into darkness. Daddy Pig locked himself in the kitchen. He prayed, remembering the day he had first found Laboo in an abandoned basement. The toy had already been saturated with black liquid, as if steeped in unspeakable evil. Black darkness swallowed the house. The only light left was the murky fire glowing in Laboo's eye.
More is needed. A full collection is required.
The fair buzzed with lights and voices. Colorful stalls beckoned with sweets. Peppa pulled Grandpa by the hand toward the brightest stand. The shelves were bursting with Laboo figurines. They all smiled with identical mouths. One golden figurine stood apart. Its crimson eyes followed Peppa's every move, then slowly winked at her. Behind the stall, an emaciated seller looked as pale as paper, their smile frozen too wide with too many teeth. Peppa begged Grandpa to win her a golden figurine. He nodded and moved smoothly. He threw a ball into an arcade machine. The ball hit its target. The figurine dropped into a tray. Grandpa picked it up. His eyes glazed over, and he reached into his pocket, pulling out not just one, but dozens of identical golden Laboobus that spilled onto the carpet. He whispered endless repetitions.
More is needed. A full collection is required.
Outside, people with prizes froze in place, their faces fixed with empty smiles. Peppa ran into darkness. The alley behind the fair was silent and dark. A flickering street lamp illuminated an ominous figure, that same seller. But now his body consisted of hundreds of fused figurines. They moved and creaked teeth. Clicking nearby stood Grandpa, whose skin had turned gray and hard, the smile frozen forever. He stared blankly through glassy eyes at emptiness. The seller extended his hand holding one figurine, a face resembling Peppa's with glowing crimson eyes, a mouth stretched into an unnatural grin. Peppa felt icy coldness at her fingertips. The skin on her palm became smooth and glossy. Hundreds of crimson-eyed monsters stared at her. The silence shattered with a sharp click. No subscribe, nightmares arrive. An old television in the living room flickered with blue light. An advertisement was playing, a cheerful cartoon about Laboo at the cinema. The halls were filled with viewers, but now the theater had long been closed. At the end of the clip, Laboo on the screen stretched out its hand, pointed directly at Evie. A ticket crawled out of the TV speakers, printed on sticky black paper. It smelled of mold. Papa Pig took the ticket. His eyes dulled. He took Peppa and Evie to the cinema. The building was dark, windows boarded up, heavy curtains of cobwebs hung. Inside, it smelled of dust and old sugar. They entered. Shadows sat in the hall, silhouettes, former viewers. They were frozen in their seats forever. Their eyes glowed with a sickly green light. Instead of a cartoon, a distorted version of Peppa's life played on the screen. Her friends smiled too broadly, holding Laboo. Then they showed Peppa's parents. They looked with empty eyes. All served Laboo. Papa Pig leaned toward Peppa. His breath was cold. Soon you will also become part of our happy crew. Peppa jumped up and tried to run. But suddenly the chairs in the hall came to life. Their armrests twisted, turned into black tentacles. They wrapped around her arms and legs, pinning Peppa back to the chair. Evie was projected onto the screen, but her face was Laboo's face. She was laughing. Papa Pig donned a ticket-taker's uniform. His movements became sharp, mechanical. He tore the ticket. Black ink splattered onto the floor. The session had begun. No turning back. The screen went dark. The hall plunged into silence. A sound was heard, a tearing film reel, or vocal cords. No subscribe, nightmares arrive. An anonymous package stood on the nursery doorframe, a bright box. Peppa opened it. Inside there was no figurine. Instead, a bundle wrapped in sterile swaddling cloth lay there. A faint laughter emanated from it. Peppa unwrapped the cloth. It was a plush Laboo. Its eyes shimmered too wetly, too consciously. Peppa threw the toy aside, but moments later it was already lying in Evie's crib. By itself, the toy wouldn't let Evie go. The girl clutched it in her hands. The plush's eyes became alive. Deep, from its half-open mouth, a black substance oozed, thick, sticky. It dripped onto the swaddling cloth, soaking into the baby's skin. Mama Pig was delighted.
Look how much she likes it. How cute.
Her eyes glazed over. Pupils shrank into dots. She didn't see the black veins appearing on Evie's arms. She didn't hear the quiet whisper coming from the toy. The whisper sounded like the squeak of foam rubber. At night, Peppa heard sounds from the nursery. She entered. Evie was awake. Her eyes were wide open, filled with black liquid. The plush Laboo sat on her chest. Its tentacle-like arms had sunk into the baby's hands. Evie wasn't crying. She was smiling. Her mouth stretched into an unnatural grin, just like the toys. Black syrup was flowing from the corners of her mouth. Mama Pig stood in the doorway. Her neck was wrapped in cellophane tape. She was shaking her head. The movements were sharp, jerky.
Quiet. Don't disturb them while they play.
Behind her, in the hallway, a pile of empty boxes was stacked. They moved. Soft whistling came from them. Peppa stepped back. She stepped on something soft. Dozens of plush Laboo lay on the floor. Their eyes gleamed in the dark. The air filled with a sound, a quiet children's laughter and endless rustling of cellophane.